From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network at Troy, Alabama's International University, this is Troy TrojanVision News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision News for September 14th, 2016. I'm Nathaniel Rodriguez.
And I'm Samantha Charles. Thank you for joining us this evening. Troy University's Student Government Association has begun a new chapter as new SGA senators were sworn into office last night, along with introducing a new idea for homecoming. Seth Hawk has the story.
Troy University's Student Government Association held its weekly meeting Tuesday night, in which they discussed the idea to make a homecoming t-shirt for every student on the Troy campus.
Traditionally, the bookstore puts on a shirt or creates a shirt for students to purchase, but we wanted to create one as well, just one that's all-encompassing for people in organizations or independents, doesn't matter, for all students. And the reason we had the inspiration to do that is we've created a homecoming philanthropy, and some of the proceeds that we raise from each shirt will go to that philanthropy. So that was kind of the reason we created one to sell to the student body.
SGA's idea to make a t-shirt for every student, no matter if they are part of a sorority or a fraternity or an independent, stood out to a newly elected SGA senator who praised the idea.
Oh, that's great, because who doesn't like free t-shirts, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like who doesn't like t-shirts in general?
The SGA welcomed the newest batch of senators during this meeting as well, and Senator Cunningham said that he is excited about the new position he has been put in.
I am, actually. It's a new experience for me. I've never done anything politically like in my life.
The newest batch of senators elected to represent the Troy student body showed a glimpse of the future of Troy to Sam Moody.
I think Troy in general, the future's bright. Goes back to our football team Saturday, playing so well against Clemson, and just a lot of new things going on Troy's campus. New senators are here as well for SGA, so we're excited to serve the student body, and we're excited to see what the future holds for us.
If you would like to keep up to date with everything that the SGA does, you can follow them on Twitter at TroySGA. Seth Hawk, Troy TrojanVision News.
Once again, you can keep up with the SGA on Twitter at TroySGA.
The Johnson Center for the Arts has new artwork on exhibition in its upper gallery. Earlier today, I had the chance to see the artwork of painter and sculptor Mary Ann Casey. The Johnson Center for the Arts is holding an exhibit of paintings and statues by a former Troy resident. The exhibit is called Stories and Totems and is by Mary Ann Casey. Casey's work features highly detailed paintings, statues of religious figures, and artwork done in the style of totem poles. According to development coordinator Wiley White, the diversity present in Casey's artwork reflects Casey's personality.
She paints on canvas, she paints on board, she paints on tin. Her subject matter is just all over the place. And it seems to be that she paints as she feels it, she just... When she finishes one painting, she goes to something else, and whatever is in her mind, it comes out.
Each piece of Casey's artwork has its own story, which is hinted at through the titles of the paintings.
There is a story behind each painting. If she was standing here, and I'm sure she'll do this at the reception, she will tell you the story behind. You point to something and she'll tell you, oh, that's the story.
Casey will be at the Johnson Center later in the month for her reception, at which she will have the chance to interact with visitors.
She's got a reception on September the 22nd. That's a Thursday evening, and she's going to do an art talk, and so nobody wants to miss that. And she's just so much fun, if you knew her, you would know what fun she is.
Stories and Totems will be on display at the Johnson Center until October 22nd. Once again, Casey will be speaking at her reception on September 22nd at the Johnson Center. Troy University's Campus Kitchens is a student volunteer effort that feeds the hungry by distributing unused food from Troy's dining hall.
That's right, Nathaniel. However, there is another student service project that is helping feed the hungry by teaching area children how to grow their own food. Ryan Renfro explains.
For the past week, Troy students and volunteers have gone to work at the local Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, Ma, you gotta make it stand up.
Building and maintaining Troy's 4th community garden.
We're really just striving to help children be aware of where food actually comes from.
And along with educating students about where food comes from, members of the Office of Civic Engagement also hold a summer camp that focuses solely on nutrition.
We just give them different worksheets, trying to help them understand the parts of the plant, to understand where the nutrients come from with eating healthy. So, because normally they just say McDonald's because it's fast and easy, stuff like that. But we want them to know what it's like to be fully healthy.
And though learning how to put plants in the ground may seem like a surface level task, the kids of the Boys and Girls Club you see here dug a little deeper.
I learned to always trust your friends. You can go far in life when you have friends to back you up.
I was just hanging around my friends, like people who I can trust. You never know what's gonna happen to one of your friends, so you should always love them like they're your family member.
If something goes wrong with your family, you always have your friends that you could trust, that don't cheat on your test, and that always help you when you need it.
That you have to be gentle with the plants, because you might break the roots.
And as for Lincoln, working with the Boys and Girls Club makes the experience even better.
The fact that we get to bring them out here and help us with the gardens was just awesome experience and great bonding for them and for me.
Community Gardens is held every Tuesday at 3:30. Ryan Renfro, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Anyone who is interested in taking part in the Community Garden Project can find out how to volunteer by stopping by the Service Learning Office in 115 Eldridge Hall.
Now, the latest in Trojan Sports on Troy TrojanVision News.
Good evening, Trojan fans. We have a lot to talk about tonight. First things first, let's get into last night's action in Birmingham, where the Trojan volleyball team faced off against the UAB Blazers. Head coach Sonny Kirkpatrick and his Trojans fell in the first set by a score of 25-21, then recovered in the second and third sets, going on a 7-1 run in the third to go up 2-1 on the Blazers. But in the fourth set, the Blazers posted 16 kills, winning 25-20 and tying the match up at 2 apiece. And in the fifth and final set, the Trojans took a 2-0 lead from the get-go, but it was the Blazers who fought back, clinching the set 15-12. The Trojans will look to bounce back on Friday when they travel to Starkville, Mississippi to take on the Bulldogs. Game time is set for 7 p.m. And while the volleyball team heads out to Starkville, the Trojan soccer team will be back in action this week right here in Troy at the Trojan Soccer Complex. The Trojans will open up conference play Friday night against Appalachian State. Now, before we get to that game, I can't help but talk about the Trojans' most recent game, a game on Sunday against the #1 ranked team in the country, the Florida State Seminoles, a team that the Trojans took to overtime, losing by only 1 goal. And head coach Jason Hamilton says that with that loss comes confidence, and that confidence will play a major role down the stretch.
I think that was, regardless of how that game the outcome came, we knew we were just going to go into that moment and enjoy that moment and learn from it. So I think the fact that we went to overtime and lost 1-0, it really gave us extra confidence than we would have had. And now we can just kind of focus on fixing our offensive woes and see if we can get 2 wins here at home where we're comfortable playing at.
Friday's game against App State is set for 7 p.m. And the cross-country team raced away in its second meet of the season over the weekend in Mobile at the Azalea City Classic. On the men's side, the Trojans had 2 top 10 finishes in the 8K from Bradley Dixon and Ryan DeGale. And on the women's side, the Trojans finished in 11th place in the 5K. And head coach Elliott Blount comments on both the men and women's performances, saying both sides are improving and getting to where they need to be.
The one thing I think that we did this year is made a mental step, and just saying, hey, look, every day we have to prove ourselves. We still are, the last place team in the conference on the men's side. On the women's side, it's not a fitness thing. It's just being able to do it and hone in, dial in mentally the day of the race. But we're seeing some good things in practice, and I know it's just a matter of time before they start, taking place in the meets.
And that next meet will be the Trojan Cross Country Invitational on September 24th. The Trojan football team is preparing for its next opponent this Saturday, the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. But before we get into this weekend's game, let's take a look at what happened after Saturday's game against Clemson.
It's great to know that we have a huge fan base behind us.
After falling to the #2 ranked Clemson Tigers on Saturday afternoon, the Trojan football team began its journey back to Trojan territory. And after a few quick scrolls through social media, it didn't take long for the Trojans to see what was waiting for them back home. 400+ Troy students and fans gathered near the field house in support of their Trojan team.
Coming back from a loss, so that's real big. Can't wait to see what the future holds for us and the fan base we have.
A lot of stuff on Twitter I saw, and when we pulled up, they were going crazy. It was just, a good student. There's a lot of students there, this is a great thing to come back to after a long game, but it was great for all of them coming out, supporting us.
I know something our kids took a lot of pride in.
And when he's on campus interacting with students, Coach Brown says there is no shortage of the Trojan spirit.
I'm really proud on this campus. I carry a lot of Troy t-shirts around with me, and I've had to give very few out for people having other schools' colors and other schools' shirts on campus right now, and I take a lot of pride in that.
If you haven't already heard, the Trojans were the #1 trending topic on Twitter for most of the afternoon on Saturday, with close to 27,000 tweets. The Trojans will hit the field on Saturday in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and game time is set for 6 p.m.